everyone, David Kessler here, and welcome back to the studio. Today's discussion topic is, if you think it's all about the art, it's not. You know, when you're a professional artist, there's an amazing array of things that you need to do to make a living. And if you spend all, and this is going to be a shock to a lot of people, but if you spend all your time in the studio making art, you'll never be a professional artist in 2017. There are too many other demands on your time, particularly to take that work out of the studio and sell it. If you spend all your time in the studio making art, how are you going to sell it? How are you going to get rid of it? How are you going to meet people? How are you going to do anything else? That's the reason I do videos based on so much different subject matter that I think will be helpful to you, because I know it's helpful for me. I don't just stand around here in the studio and show you technique after technique after technique, because that's not going to matter to you. What matters is having information from people like me that nobody else is going to tell you. That is what is helpful for people that want to be professional artists, or that are coming up, that want to do this for a living, or information even for people that are trying to buy art or collect art. They need to know what kind of goes on behind the scenes of the art world. Today it's very difficult to be an artist because there's so many things that you need to do to get people to see your art and to buy your art. Now, if you're one of the people in the top tier galleries and you sell your work through those top tier galleries and you make a great living, thank you and good for you. I appreciate that you can do that. For the rest of us, it's just not that easy. You can't just spend all your time in your studio, take your work to a gallery, expect them to sell it, and then you go right back to the studio to make more work, and the process goes on. Unless you're in one of those top tier galleries and you've been doing that for a long time, that doesn't work anymore. Okay, that's an old school model. There's still plenty of people that make a living that way, and I'm glad they do. I'm so happy for them. But that, for the most of us, is not the process. Okay, it's very complicated today. You have to do so many things to get your work out there, to get into shows, to find exhibition opportunities, to meet with collectors, to find collectors, to get people to see your work, to try and sell your work, to get on social media and all of these different things and all these different channels to try to get your work out there, to get your sort of brand out there so that people know about you and like you and trust you and will buy from you. Okay, it's very time consuming. It's a very is a very detailed sort of an existence and experience. It's very interesting, and it never gets boring. It never gets old. Painting is great, and I love to paint. I don't get a whole lot of time to paint, to be honest with you, because I have so many other things to do. Painting actually takes up the least amount of time of all the other things that I do. So if you're a professional artist, or you want to be a professional artist, remember, you had to do the painting so that you have a body of consistent work to put out into the world. However, you can't spend all your time in the studio making work, because you have to get the work out of the studio. You have to get out of the studio to try and sell your work and to develop a brand for you and your work. Okay? So here's a kind of a list of stuff that you may or may not think about that you have to do. You have to search for collectors and meet them and try to get them interested in your work, because the galleries aren't going to do that anymore. That's your job as the artist. You have to be able to sell your work. Now, whether you're doing that with the collectors, whether you're doing that through art fairs, whether you're doing that through solo exhibitions and shows, it doesn't matter, but you have to figure out what it is that's going to help sell your work. You have to be on social media. You have to post to social media. You have to get your work out there. No longer can you be a hermit in your studio. You have to open up your process and what it is that you do with others, so that they can kind of take the journey with you and begin to appreciate what you do and see your work and love your work and trust you and buy from you. You have to do meet and greet, shaking hands and kissing babies and all that kind of stuff so people can see you. Maybe you do public speaking, art talks and that kind of stuff. Maybe you teach, right? I mean, I teach. Online learning is huge. If you have something to share with other people, right, do some online learning. You can get paid for the knowledge that you already have in your head. You have to have an email list. You have to be able to start an email list and nurture that list and communicate with people and constantly build the list, because those are people that are most likely going to buy from you and are going to like what you do and follow you on social media and that kind of stuff. So it's important to have that list and communicate with them regularly, whether that's through newsletters or videos like I do, or blog posts or whatever that is. Right? You can do videos or live videos are big now. Any kind of exhibits and solo shows or group shows that you can put together, art fairs. You got to have a good website, right? You got to be in charge of your website and all the stuff that's on your website, and constantly update it with new work, and what sells, you take it off. The new stuff, you put it on there. You got to have bios and artist statements and all this kind of stuff. Maybe you do painting demos. I mean, all these things help you sell work. It helps get your work, your name out there, get your brand out there in front of other people who may not know about you. I know it may sound overwhelming. It's a lot of stuff to do. It's a lot of stuff to do. So being an artist in 2017 is not about being in the studio all the time. Being in the studio is a small part of what you have to do as an artist or a painter or whatever it is that you do, a ceramicist or whatever, to get your work out into the world so that people will see it and buy it from you. All right, if you've had specific things that have worked for you, share that with the viewers in the comments section down below, and I would love to see what you're doing and what some other people are doing, what friends of yours are doing. I think it helps all of us. The more information we have, the better we'll be able to go out there and communicate with those that may want to purchase our work. So thanks for any comments that you leave. Thanks for watching the video. I hope it was helpful for you, and I'll see you on the next one.